did end up getting the police involved, and the messages like stopped soon after. But it does like make you scared. Like you are putting yourself into a dangerous position doing it.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to 30 Years and Running. I'll be your host, Christian, and each week my friends and I will be looking at life seen through the eyes of 30-somethings. Whether it's things like dating, social media, or mental health, we'll be looking at the past, present, and future of being in your 30s.
It will happen again.
Yeah.
I've got a good feeling that it's going to happen again.
You're putting that out in the atmosphere.
I am.
I'm
putting it out in the universe. I'm hoping it manifests itself.
I do really appreciate that because
Listen, this is the least I can do. So, yeah. With that being said, welcome to 30 Years of Running. We've got a new guest today, actually. We've got Charlotte.
Hello, I'm Charlotte.
In fact. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good as always. So I guess today's topic is one which I guess has been on the cards for me for a while, and it's just something that just like fascinated me to be honest. And we're going to be talking about OnlyFans. And Charlotte is someone who has an OnlyFans account, and you've had it for how long? Sorry.
I think I've had this OnlyFans account for 6 months now.
Oh, so you've had another one before?
I did.
Okay, so you're a veteran. Like, so in total, like, how long have you had it for?
In total for OnlyFans, I'd say like probably 2 years, but my first time really flopped.
Yeah.
So I ended up like kind of sulking, deleting everything, and then I restarted it up 6 months ago with a little bit more knowledge.
Got you.
On how to, yeah.
Why? So before we carry on, actually, I'm going to be do a really dickish thing and say, anybody who's watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're, you're doing like a little
yes, please.
And yeah, if you're watching on any podcast platform, make sure you download it and all that jazz. Anyway, that's the boring stuff out of the way. Back to you, OnlyFans account, first time around. Yeah, what happened, do you think, in that case?
I don't think that I knew the right people and actually knew where to advertise. Because that is a big thing, is just advertising and reaching the right people.
Yeah.
I wasn't really hot on socials, like my following on Instagram wasn't really that big at the time as well. And I just kind of felt like I was posting just for my like few followers. Yeah, but now that I've come back to it, I've got like a great circle of friends who are in the industry as well, and they've given me like tips and tricks and got me involved and stuff like that. Learned how to advertise properly in all these different places too. Like
So I guess there's two things I wanted to pick up on there actually. So firstly is the great circle of friends that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I've noticed from just speaking, well, when I was kind of doing research for this episode and just speaking to people or other people who have OnlyFans accounts.
Yeah.
The one thing I tend to notice actually is like there feels like almost you might completely like pour cold water on this, but it feels like there's a lot of like camaraderie within the kind of the OnlyFans community, because I always see on like Instagram, for example, you see people like posting about other girls or guys and like encouraging people to like follow them and subscribe or whatever. So there always seems like there's a lot of camaraderie within the community. Is that true, or is that a bit of a facade?
It is true, but it all matters with who you surround yourself with.
Sure.
I think with any sort of job, any sort of industry, you've got like the select few people there who would do anything to bring you down, do anything to literally see you fail and fall on your face. But you've got also a select few there that are going to support you no matter what.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh yeah, girl, like big you up, happily shout you out or advertise you, and it's just always a mix. Mix.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I suppose the other point I was going to make is, I guess we were talking off air about this, but because I work in marketing in terms of my day job, like the advertising side of things is quite interesting for me. So I guess how did you find like the whole process of like trying to promote yourself on all the different social platforms? And also, is it just social platforms that you use to promote yourself? On that point, I will put Charlotte's OnlyFans link within the YouTube description as well. So just in case you guys want to tune in. So, but yeah, sorry, I'm digressing. But yeah, back to the point.
You fucking advertise me. I need the help.
Well,
it's hard to find places to do it.
No, this is what I'm here for. So yeah, like, how did you find the whole process of like advertising yourself on social? And yeah, is there anything or anywhere else, that you advertise apart from social? So
the advertising and the marketing thing is the thing that I struggle the most with. Like, it's the thing that actually causes me stress and anxiety, especially when you put a post out and no one really reacts to it. and stuff like that, because it can like do bad things for your confidence.
Yeah, listen, as someone who does this on a regular basis, like, don't take it to heart. It's just
it's all about when you actually find the right people, isn't it? And then it just takes, but it's just finding the right people at first. The second half of your question, what was that?
It was just, aside from social media platforms, is there anywhere else where you tend to advertise?
It's mostly through word of mouth, or through like my cam site.
Clearly popular, aren't you?
Thank you. I'd like to be more popular.
Well, I'm saying, because how many followers have you got on OnlyFans? Is it a couple thousand?
No, not on OnlyFans.
Okay.
See, these things.
Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking about Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Instagram. Sorry, my bad.
Instagram, I got like 2,500 followers.
Pretty good going.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. On Twitter, I think I have like 1,500 now, which blew up in like 2 days, which is really good. I was really proud of that. Hasn't moved since.
What caused that? Was that something that you posted? Or was
it was.
What was it? Was it the floof?
It wasn't the floof, no. It was actually me asking about people to collab with. I was like, oh, hi, I'm doing my books for January and February. Does anyone want to collab? And obviously you get like mainstream people who aren't actually in the industry commenting on there saying, oh, yeah, I'd like do a collab with me. But there's all sorts of dangerous with collaborating with the general
it's like,
public.
Thanks for the offer, like Dave from like Bournemouth, but I'm actually good.
Yeah.
Kind of want to do a collab with someone who is probably not going to chop me into a million pieces. But
that's another thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is another, like with STD checks and stuff like that, like you can't actually guarantee these people have it. And obviously you have to do all the like ID checks and the filling out all the forms and all, and most of the people want to go faceless as well, which can be a bit annoying because you kind of like, we'll collab, but it's like, but you don't show your face and it could cause a lot of trouble. Yeah. So
it's a bit of a tricky one, I guess, isn't it? But
it is tricky. It is, especially when it's just a blowjob video. You know what I mean? Like, do a quick like glance at your face, and the video's all right. What's it? Oh yeah, on Twitter. Yeah. And a lot of it was other creators as well being like, yeah, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to, and it was like a massive compliment. But because of I put that out and I was getting so much feedback, I got overwhelmed. Yeah. And I ended up just putting down my phone. I was like, I'm going to deal with that another day.
Like I say, you're too popular. You need to be careful because
babe.
You're the one saying it, to be honest. So.
No, it's the thing is, like, I say this like it happens all the time, but it doesn't. Like you get like odd days or odd weeks where things just really like work for you and things really get better and people notice you, and then you can get 3 or 4 months where you don't increase in followers, you don't sell anything, you don't like
Yeah, I mean, I guess again we were talking off air about this, but I guess it's like any job, right? In terms of you need to have that consistency with posting and engaging with your followers, and it's a lot. I think it's a lot more work than people probably give it credit for. Yeah. And I think anybody who has tried to grow something on social media or is kind of in that influencing space, I think they're the ones who kind of appreciate how hard it is actually to kind of grow a following. So. As someone, like I say, who's been doing this with the podcast myself, like I've got a healthy respect for anybody who's trying to do that, and I share the pain that you have in terms of, when you put out a post, you don't kind of get the reaction that you get, or likewise if you're not kind of grown as much as you hope and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so, it does do something for your confidence. It really does. Like, it's amazing. But then again, like people just don't think twice about it. Like they're just not into what they're seeing at that moment, so they don't share it or they don't like it. Like you just need to try not to take it personally, which is hard to do.
I guess it's hard to do when it's just you on screen and you're kind of the one who's literally exposing yourself. But yeah, I guess it kind of comes with the territory, right?
Yeah, it helps if you're comfortable being like an exhibitionist.
And so on that point as well, like, are you comfortable? Well, you're obviously comfortable, I'm assuming.
Totally.
Or is it more? Okay, fine. Because totally it kind of brings me on to the point, right, around because sometimes. And you can help fill in the blanks on this, I guess. It's like sometimes people might do OnlyFans just for pure business reasons, and they might not actually like getting, they might not getting the kind of like stalkers or whatever. So for you, you're really comfortable being an exhibitionist. Like you love the idea of being like naked, and if you can get money doing it, then happy days.
It's a bonus, To be fair, like I had like kind of a mundane sex life before all of this. I was working loads of jobs, I had really shit boyfriends, and all of a sudden I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start doing OnlyFans. I'm going to see, and then I started liking it more and more. More and more. And now I've just unleashed.
Yeah, I was about to say, talk to me about that. So was it like, was it anything in particular that sparked you onto OnlyFans? Was it like end of the relationship with the shit boyfriend, and then you were just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go balls out or floof out?
I'm floof out.
I need to erase that from my vocabulary. You
No, don't.
introduced that
Floof is the best
I'm
word.
not. Yeah, but no, it's not.
Well, omu.
Omu.
Moo.
Oh, I thought you said omu. I was like, I thought you were
Omu's
talking
quite
like
cute as
Maori or
well.
something. No, that's not getting introduced. No. Floof maybe.
Yeah.
No.
What was the question before we started talking about
No,
floof?
so my question was more around like, was there anything in particular that sparked you to start an OnlyFans, or was it just like, I don't know, you just felt like you wanted to do something a little bit kind of daring?
So at first, it was the fact that I had like 3 jobs and I was swimming and I lived on my own. I needed to cover stuff.
Yeah.
I actually signed up to a site called All Things Worn, where you sell garments that you've worn.
Garments. By garments, you mean
Underwear,
Yep.
or even bras, or like
Yep.
full body suits.
Sure.
Yeah, sometimes you get sissies on there who just want to buy your stuff to wear it as well and stuff. Like
to wear it themselves?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which
What,
I
like guys doing it, or
Yeah,
like...
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I quite
Okay.
like it because sometimes people need to find the place to be comfortable to actually express what they want to do.
But
you
it's,
know?
do you know what it is? It's more like, why do they feel like they need to buy something that's already worn as opposed to buying new stuff? Or is it just more, again, we're probably getting too deep in the psychology of it, but
Maybe.
like, I'm sure there's something around wearing something that someone else has worn and feeling part of them in a weird kind of Jeffrey
Maybe it could be
Dahmer
feeling
way.
part of them.
Anyway, or
It-
feeling like they're kind of like being intimate with you, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it can
I'm
be
just
that as
speculating,
well.
but yeah.
It can be that as well. It can also be like you're kind of just discreet and you're like, oh, fuck
Yeah.
you. Or they just like the smell of a lady and then they'll like put it on them and like smell. I don't know. Or they just like
again,
you had
like
offering
listen,
at the time.
Yeah, like listen, each your own. But
wear.
I just can't. It doesn't really like.
Compute.
Yeah, it doesn't compute with me
understand,
in
it's not
terms of
for
like.
everyone.
I'm just thinking about the whole process from like you wearing something, you sending it, and then
Yeah.
they receive it, and in my head they just like pick it up and they're like, and then like. And it could be, and I'm not saying this is you, by the way,
Yeah.
it could be like the sweatiest thing ever. You could have been wearing it for like 8 hours straight. And then they
You'd be
go,
disgusted. trust
yeah,
me.
and then they go and put it on and they're just like, this is the best thing ever. Like that, something in my head.
Well, let's say like one person out of 10
Yeah.
is to wear, but on that site it's like 9 times out of 10
Yeah.
they're actually there to get the fragrance from you, like
Yeah,
to have a play
fragrance.
sort of thing. Yeah,
They want the floof fragrance.
yeah, the floof fragrance.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you love eating pussy, you must love the smell of it, right?
I mean, I think we might have to agree to disagree on this
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
yeah.
okay then, cool.
So,
Maybe I-
yeah, so I mean, on that point, just very quickly, like,
Yeah.
I like doing it, but then, again, this is an obvious point, but like, if it's smelling fishy or the pH
Oh,
is
if it's
off,
like a battery acid. then you
yeah,
don't want
if the pH is off, I'm off as well. So, anyway, that's a story for another
No, I
day.
get that. You got to
Yeah,
be clean as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course, of course, of course.
That's
yeah, so
what got me into it.
Yeah,
Was All Things Worn.
Yeah.
So I was sat there like at my job, like having dirty chats with these people buying my knickers, and I thought I actually really
yeah.
like this.
And would you? You don't have to like specify like the company or whatever, but
Okay.
what were you doing beforehand? And is OnlyFans your full time job as well?
No, OnlyFans is kind of part time,
Okay.
and Cam is part time. So
Yeah.
together it's like full time.
There you go.
And then with all the advertising, the socialising, the messaging, and then it's double full time. So
Yeah.
actually, you give up 3 jobs thinking that you're going to get your life back, but actually it takes over your life.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Good.
with it. So yeah, I mean, there's difference between being stressed and happy and just being stressed, isn't there? So
Yeah. And so just going back to motivations, I guess. So primarily for you, was it just, well, sorry, maybe it wasn't just, but like a lot of it was driven by just the fact that you had 3 jobs,
yeah,
the fact that you just wanted something which, you know, is a money making thing ultimately.
it was like the extra bit a month to actually help me with my bills.
Okay.
But then you kind of slowly realise that you actually really like it. And
Yeah.
then you start getting better at it. And you think, I'm getting better at this. I don't actually need that job. So I'll leave that job.
Yeah. So
then-
so essentially, like you had, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you had your main job. You kind of did OnlyFans as like a side hustle, I
Yeah.
guess, to kind of get money. But then it got to a point where you just ended up enjoying it, I suppose, because you are by your own kind of admission like an exhibitionist. You kind of loved it, just wanted to carry it on, and then it's ended up being your full-time job along with camming.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
A perfect love story.
I know, right? I know.
No, I just think that's interesting. Like I say, just because I think different people, it's like different stroke for different folks, right? Like some people just do it purely for the money.
Yeah.
But then obviously you kind of do it for, well, you obviously do it for the money, but then you also do it because you
Yeah,
like the exhibition side of stuff.
It's fair enough if people just want to do it for the money, for a
Yeah,
little
of course.
extra income. But it's not easy work. That's the thing that I can't
Yeah.
stress enough. It's not easy.
Mhm.
You have to put the time in, and you have to
Yeah.
put the social in. Like,
Yeah. And again, you know, it's what, you know, you get out of it what you put in, right?
Yeah.
It's just like any job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably sometimes that gets, maybe that gets lost on people because maybe it's to do with this idea of, you know, people who do cam in or they do OnlyFans, they kind of, this is just my perception, right?
Yeah,
in terms of
carry
like
on.
people kind of forget that, you know, people who do OnlyFans or whatever, they are real people at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just something that, you know, it's part of any job that you do. It's just like you're only going to get out of it what you put in. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what appeals to people with OnlyFans as well, is that it is normal girls on there doing it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess well, there's two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? It's like you either want to, you know, have the girl who you either follow on like Instagram or like the girl next door.
Hey.
Yeah, you either have that or you go the opposite ends of the scale and you go for like, I don't know, a celebrity that you really like. Well, we were talking about Iggy Azalea off camera,
Yeah.
right?
Apparently
So-
Cardi B has OnlyFans.
Oh, really?
Not that you would sub to it, but I would.
I wouldn't, yeah. I mean, you're probably going to sub like right after here, right?
I don't know. I mean, I've known about it for a while and I still haven't subbed, but
Why
I feel
not?
like it might be time. I don't know if she still has
must
it.
be.
I heard about
Yeah.
it like a year ago, to be
You're
fair,
going to be like, you're going to be Googling that straight
God,
after this.
yeah,
to be honest.
I know. I'm going to have to hide my phone on the train.
You're going to be like in the train. Well, you're probably
Sneak off to the
I was,
toilet.
I was literally about to say that. Get the floof out.
Oh, God.
I need to
That's
start saying floof as well, but anyway.
No, I love floof. Keep with floof. Floof
Okay,
or moo is all
fine.
good.
Moo. Moo's not a term. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
moo's
gonna put my foot down and flute.
Well, it's either that or flange.
Flange, no.
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 Doesn't make it sound attractive, does it?
No, that's not. That should never be a thing, to be honest. Flange. There's the ocean's over there. I'm gonna throw that bitch in the ocean,
All right.
and we're gonna lock it up and never to be seen again.
I'll let you with that one, but not with moo or floof.
Deal.
Bit sweaty.
You got floof juice on you. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Did you wonder what I was doing in the toilet?
Yeah, it is a bit. The pH is a bit off, but you know, yeah, I'm joking. So I guess so. Remind me. So you've been on OnlyFans in total for how long? In total, like including
Put
the account that you had
together,
before.
I would literally say like either a year and a half or 2 years.
Year and a half. Cool. And so I guess during that time, have you had any kind of interesting stories? So they could either be like a funny story or they could be a scary story. Like anything that's happened during that kind of 18 months that you've been in there.
Do you want a scary one?
I want it all.
It's a fucking scary one.
Let's hear it.
So I had someone pretty much saying like they knew where I lived and things like that. They've managed to get my real name. They've managed to find the city that obviously where I lived. Find out what pets I have. Like even found one of my friends' names, which scared the crap out of me.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, so like it depends. You have to be really careful with who you do meet online. Obviously, OnlyFans, it's like technically anonymous, so you don't actually know. It's always like dancing with the devil a bit for it. I did end up getting the police involved, and the messages like stopped soon after. But it does like make you scared. Like you are putting yourself into a dangerous position doing it.
Yeah, that's messed up, man.
That is really
again.
bad,
It's just
yeah.
like it goes back to the point around, you know, this is a job at the end of the day. Like nobody should feel like they're in danger when they're doing their job.
Yeah,
And I think it probably goes back to the point I was making around like I think sometimes people don't really kind of comprehend that, you know, the person behind the OnlyFans account
yeah,
is a real person. They're not some sex doll that you just like that has like zero like personality or like humanity to them. Like they're a real
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
You know, you can't like behave in that way really. So
but I think some people, man or woman, just get a kick of terrorizing you. I mean, that's why you get loads of trolls online and stuff like that, don't you? Like, I just think people get a kick from it. To be honest, even if they're not gonna do anything, hopefully, fingers crossed, it still does like scare you, and they know it scares you, and that's why they do it. Even if you had like friends from your past school, and they found your account, they'll report your things through the nose, and they'll probably end up sending you texts being like, "Oh, does your dad know what you do?" And it's like, go and fucking tell him. So go and tell him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I guess on that point as well. So again, to make the point around like, you know, people who do OnlyFans, they're real people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, how has OnlyFans kind of affected your personal life, I guess? So do your parents and do your family know about you doing this?
Yeah.
And okay, so on that point, like, how has your relationship changed with your family as a result of that, or is it kind of like not spoken about and you kind of crack on as normal? But
I understand.
Yeah.
So with my brothers, they know, but I never speak about it.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because they're my brothers. The ones that I speak to anyway.
Yeah.
My dad, I don't speak to him, and he knows. I couldn't really give a shit what he thinks. My mum is completely accepting of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, she is literally the angel in my world. Like, she's like saying that she's well proud of me.
Shout out
and
to
things
Mummy
like
Rose.
That. I know, right? I know.
Mummy Rose, if you're listening and watching, shout out to your little one.
Oh, she is fantastic, and my stepdad as well. I've got to
Yeah.
give it to him as well.
Shout out to
fair.
stepdaddy as well.
But,
Stepzaddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, that's a bit you know what I mean.
No, I do love them both,
Yeah.
to be honest. But the thing is, with my family, I think I've got the kind of attitude where it's like, I'll tell you what I do. I'm completely honest. I'm not going to hide it. If you don't like it, that's on you. That's a problem that you have to sort out. Because at the end of the day, as long as we do it properly and we're doing things within reason and within legality, then we're not hurting anyone.
Yeah. How did they first react when you told them that? And was it like a thing where you kind of sat them down and said, "Look, Mum, look, stepzaddy, this is what I do."
Stepzaddy.
I couldn't resist. I know, I couldn't resist. Did you like sit them down and said like, "Look, this is what I kind of do for work," or was it just more kind of like blasé, off the cuff, like, "Oh, by the way, as a way to just get a bit more cash in my account, I'm getting my floof out"?
I'm trying to think, because with my
remember?
mum, it was definitely blasé.
Was
It was definitely like, I'm a cam girl now, Mum. She went, "Oh, really? What do you mean?" "Well, I
Yeah.
talk to guys online for money." Like that. And she's
And
like,
she's like, "Oh, that is lovely. Why didn't I think about that earlier?" Yeah.
pretty much. But I think that she thought that I was doing something that I didn't want to do, because at first she was like, "Oh, well, what, you can do all these free courses online, do this and do that." It's like, "Mum, I've got my qualifications."
Yeah.
Like, there are a few things that I want to learn in my life that at the moment I'm actually really
sorry,
happy.
just very quickly, like, what qualifications have you got as well? Just so.
So I've got obviously like B's and C's and shit in English, biology,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, all that jazz. I've got a award in supporting the employability of personal effectiveness. I've got an animal care level 1 qualification, which was really,
is
really
it?
good. So technically I
Well,
could
do
go
you
and
try
work in a zoo right now.
I was
you know
about to
what I
say,
mean?
yeah.
But-
so you could work in the zoo, but like not be a vet. Is that kind of
Yeah,
level? Okay.
I was on my way to trying to be a vet, and then it kind of settled down to me that I'll actually have to put an animal down.
Okay, and that was like, yeah, no, I
It's
can't
just
do
like
that.
a no-go. Like, I've
Yeah.
had pets before where they've been sick and they've had to like go.
Sure.
And it's like, even just taking them to the vet to get it done is just heartbreaking. So I couldn't even imagine like doing
Yeah,
that.
sorry. The only reason why I just stopped you there is just
That's
because,
all right.
again, it's just around that point around. So part of this episode for me is just around removing some of the stigma around, well, I guess sex workers, right? And just getting people to understand that, you know, they're not just, they're human beings at the end of the day. They're it's not just floof, not just sex dolls. They're not just there for your sexual gratification. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry, it's to interrupt
No,
you, but I
don't
just wanted to
apologise.
make that point around that. Just, you
I
know,
like that.
qualifications, don't get me wrong, they're not the be all and end all, and they don't help to humanise you. But,
No, but
it's
a lot
just
of
more the fact that I think people think that, you know, if you're OnlyFans, it just, people might make the assumption that you've got zero qualifications,
Yeah.
you're thick as shit.
And that's one
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
harsher comments that we do receive as like hate, is like, "Oh, well, because you can't do anything else, like taking off your clothes is all you can do." And it's like, actually, no. Like, let me just forward you like all.
Let
of
me
my
just
clothes.
send you all my qualifications, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Um,
I know some really smart, even people with like psychology qualifications, like they've got like an A all across the board and stuff like that, but they're doing this because they enjoy it.
yeah,
So-
fair enough. No, more power to them. you know what? As I say on a lot of these episodes as well,
Yeah.
and I know this sounds like very kind of Wurzel Gummidge, sitting on the fence, but it's at the end of the day, it's each their own. If it's something that you enjoy, if it's something that makes you money, and as long as it makes you happy,
Yeah.
crack on. More power to you. So
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
that's all right. I'm just quite a liberal person in general, to be fair. So
Yeah, it's got to be done. Just like be kind to everyone and just let everyone get on with their shit.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think anybody's in any position to kind of judge what others do, really. So yeah, as long as they're not harming people, and as long as it makes them happy and whatnot, then yeah, more power to them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Definitely. I'm thankful you can see it, because for some reason, for some people, it doesn't come like that obvious to them, and they're like, no, you do this, all right then, and then all of a sudden you're just way below any sort of respect that they could give.
Yeah, it's funny because so my friend and I did an episode on porn.
Okay.
And
so I glanced at that one.
Yeah, and we just talked about, I think, again, I don't want to like demonize porn, but I feel like porn has created this perception where porn actresses, and kind of filtering through to people who do cam and OnlyFans, are kind of not real people, and you know, they have this perception that people who work in these industries are just not human. So I just feel like it's really important to kind of try and remove that stigma, really. So
no, I completely agree with you. Because especially when you do full-on porn, like for instance, you're so easily found on Pornhub, you are kind of put on a pedestal where it's like, yeah, mate, she's getting fucked by, did you see him fill her, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. But it's like, actually, this girl goes home and she does like, I don't know, God, I need to think of something.
just the
now.
Washing and.
Not the washing and the cleaning.
I thought you just. I thought you were trying to like human. I thought you were talking about like she just goes home and does normal shit. But
this girl goes home and advocates for people who like a genital mutilation or something like that. You know what I mean?
I got a complete wrong end of the stick there. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
You are right, and a lot of like porn and Pornhub is like staged as well. So you kind of just see her getting ragged the shit out of, and then you're kind of like, yeah, and then done. That's it. Like you just see her doing that. Well, that's the good thing with OnlyFans as well, is that you can see what I'm doing day to day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just making this. Like, just simple food or something like that. Like, oh, I'm having an off day. I'm just laying in bed. I'm playing Spyro or something like that. You know, like that's another personal thing with OnlyFans that I really like.
Yeah, that's interesting actually.
Yeah.
And I suppose before we finish, like that's probably like a good place to finish on, really, because I'm sure like a lot of the listeners and watchers will kind of want to know like the content that you produce as well. So I think the ultimate kind of, not the ultimate, like the kind of the assumption is that all the content is you getting your floof out.
Not all the time.
Okay.
Not all the time.
So talk me through like what kind of content do you do? So you obviously talked about like the day-to-day, like what do you do in a normal day thing?
Yeah.
But then on top of that, like what's the kind of the more salacious content that you do?
The more explicit stuff.
Yes, that's the one.
So
give me like basically like I think that's a really long-winded way of me saying like give me the full range of like what your OnlyFans content is about, like right from you playing the Spyro right through to you taking dick.
Okay.
If that is a thing.
Yeah.
So
I am a BDSM switch, so it means that I can be dominant.
What is switch, by the way? I've heard this before, but what is it?
Switches means that someone who enjoys being a sub and someone who enjoys being dominant. There's not a particular way about it. It's kind of like how you feel and what partner you've actually come across, and how they make you feel. So what I love to do can literally range from being strapped up, spanked, whipped,
Sorry.
and stuff like that.
I lost concentration there. For anybody who wasn't watching, I was just looking into the camera because I was like, I am too old.
It is, no, seriously.
I am like
You're
too old
too
and
old.
too naive for this.
Never
too
never
naive.
too old.
Too naive, yeah.
Too naive, maybe.
Yeah.
We need to like
Old man
get
Christian,
you open
just
into the world.
Not
like.
into, just hasn't experienced BDSM and Switch. I'm telling you, I'm just in my flat 98% of the time. I don't.
It's alright. It's a good life. It's peaceful.
Just with my Bible, just
You carry on, babe.
halo over my head.
Yeah, exactly. I can see it glowing as well. You know, it's emitting so much
It's
light.
somewhere behind this sofa. To be honest. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're okay. So it can range from all of that to me being Wait, that is me being a sub. To
Yeah.
me being a dom, so
Which
I'll
one
be
do you
doing the
prefer?
whipping, I'll be doing the pegging. I love being a dom.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I just, without getting too much into it, like, I don't know. I think it's because of obviously my
I mean,
past.
you can get
and
into it
then
if you want to.
The
It depends.
need to get rid of that halo on your head, don't we?
I told you it's behind the sofa, so you're good. You're good to go.
Stashing it away for a little while.
Nah, it's like if you look behind, it's gathering dust. So
Oh, it's still
been there for a
going though. So
I mean, very dimly.
But,
Yeah, very, very dimly, to be honest. Anyway, sorry.
So it can range obviously from
Yeah.
dom stuff to sub stuff, which I like. I prefer being dom, definitely.
Hmm.
I think it's just where I've like had that shit time,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I have these like men who are powerful, like they do have money, like actually letting me have control and power over them. It's like a complete dynamic switch. Like it's
Hmm. Yeah.
really good for your mental health. If you're doing it properly, it's like the best therapy. But it does take practice.
And just on that point as well, I heard you can take a course. Again, this is showing how naive I am, but I heard
Yeah.
you can take a course to be like a dominatrix.
You can.
Yeah. Again, new news to me, but
I think if you were to do anything like that, though, it's definitely worth doing because it's so
Yeah.
dangerous. Like, BDSM is the difference between making someone's mental state better or breaking it.
and also potentially killing someone, I guess, if they like
Oh,
being
jeez.
choked or
Jeez Louise. Well, I hope it wouldn't go that far. Do
yeah,
you know what
well,
I mean?
you
There's
never
always
know.
safe
Well, I don't know.
words.
Yeah, I know you've got the safety word, but like I've heard stories around like guys who like. Well, someone told me quite recent, like someone literally liked their ball sack being tied, and then it was like
Oh, yeah, that's
connected to their
dangerous.
being connected to their neck.
Yeah.
And the guy liked it being pulled super super tight to the
Oh.
point where he went blue, basically. So like that's the reason why I kind of asked, because you know
I understand, yeah.
you could. It's conceivable, right, that you kind
Yeah.
of maybe you pull a little bit too hard and do just kind of like blacks out, and then
Hmm.
you know.
This is another thing about getting to know the people that you're working with online. You need to actually know their cues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you was to actually like meet them in person, you do need to know the person that you're dealing with when you're
Yeah.
doing like you need to know their cue. You can't just go turning them blue and killing them off like that.
No, don't need any dead bodies. Yeah.
They definitely need their bodies. They definitely need their lungs.
I mean, they need life, man. You can't
They
be
do.
out here. You need to be. You're here for like to entertain them and stuff, right? Or
Yeah.
you know, can't be killing off people. That's not okay. So
Can't be killing
Anyway.
off people.
so yeah, dominatrix is kind of one kind of string to the OnlyFans content bow.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, sorry, you mentioned like the day-to-day content, which is just more you just kind of going about your business, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends how active on social media as well that you are, like if
Mm.
you can actually keep up with the posts and how active you actually are in real life. Because if you are sat there doing your accounts all day or like just sat on cam all day, you just have that one picture with your one outfit.
I
that
mean,
you're
maybe
wearing.
some guys or girls are just kind of behind the screen, just jacking off to you, you know, doing your accounts and using Socotoa. Do you remember Socotoa? Like algebra?
Soccer tire?
Socotoa.
No, I've never even
Okay.
heard
It's like
of that.
algebra stuff.
I have
like
to say,
from-
maths isn't one that I got the B grade in.
I mean, I wasn't very good at graphs. I wasn't good at maths, but yeah, I remember Socotoa. I don't
Yeah.
know what it stands for, but anyway, I digress. My point is, like, I'm sure there's like a niche in the market for like people like getting off of you doing like really mundane
Yeah.
tasks.
I
So-
had a guy paying me once just to... he was buying my takeaways as well, just to watch me eat. Sometimes
just to watch you eat.
Yeah, sometimes it would be live and sometimes I'd take a video and then send it to him.
Right.
But he'd pay for my takeaways and then...
Did he?
Then some.
So in that point, did he want you to eat like a certain way, or was just like, I just want to watch you eat?
No, and I eat really badly as well. Like I eat like I haven't been fed in a week.
Is it?
And it looks like it as well.
Yeah.
But I think maybe you like that.
Okay, so you had like your Rogan Josh like all around your mouth, and he was
That's
just
it.
like, he was like, yeah,
Exactly.
that's it, that's it, the spot.
Yeah. It was quite a compliment.
I'm not here to judge. You crack on, sir or madam.
To be honest, bumping
Yeah.
into him online gave me the confidence to eat in public. Because I
Happy
used to have
days.
this real big thing about eating in public, but now I'm just like,
Well, shout out to Rogan Josh, man. In that case, wherever you
Cheers,
are
mate.
in this
You helped
in
me
this
with my
metaverse, yeah, shout out to you, man. So yeah, so okay, so daily tasks, obviously big on dominatrix and switch stuff. Anything else like solo, boy, girl, 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 that kind of thing as well.
So, I've been mostly solo up until November, and that's
Yeah.
when I done a collab with English Tom with the Mr. and Mrs. Claus thing.
Okay.
Which was my first BG on camera. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed filming it. I thoroughly enjoyed and meeting him as well. He's a really pleasant guy, really naughty as well, to be honest.
Yeah, shout out English.
Yeah, mate. Oh God. And
what was that? What, I feel like you were like mentally replaying what
you know
happened.
when you have a good time and you got that picture in your head and it goes like that.
The dick was good.
The dick was good, yeah. But this is unprofessional. See, like in the thing, you have to be like, yeah, we had a great
That's
time.
not unprofessional. That's
No, it is seriously
Why?
like you can't just message another creator and be like, oh my God, you look gorgeous. I'd love to eat your pussy. Like you can't actually do
why
that.
not?
You say, oh, you look amazing. I love your style. Do you reckon maybe we can work together one day?
Nah, I reckon you just go balls.
No, you can't.
thin,
It's
yeah.
not the right etiquette. You
Okay,
can't
fair
go
enough,
scaring
fair
them.
enough.
Because think of the type of messages that we get from fans.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, oh, I'd love to eat your pussy. Like, when can we meet for a shag? And it's like, no, I don't do meats, mate. Sorry, like, stuff like that.
Fair.
So, yeah, to be more crude. Sorry about the language that I used there.
Absolutely fine. Like I said, no holds barred.
Yeah, it's very much like, let's say in your work, and you was emailing someone for a work meeting, if you do that, and you was like, oh, hi, Mr. blah, blah, blah. Can I schedule this meeting for 3 o'clock?
No, I'll be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, can I eat your fliff at 3:30? Does that work? I'll book a meeting room for it.
Do you know what?
No, I'm joking.
No, I'll try and arrange a collab like that, and I'll let
Yeah.
you know how it goes. I'll send you the screenshots.
Please
I'll
do.
probably get a fuck off.
Listen, send it to me. I'm all ears. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for watching 30 Years and Running. Please subscribe, comment, and share. See you next week. Peace.